Do you also think like the experience you come with from back home, that also helped you in navigating your future as well as like getting a job here in Canada? Do you really think that experience was weightage enough to land a co-op opportunity here?
Um, I would say not so much. Like the uh, I had like what? How many? Nine, maybe six, seven people who joined as a co-op with me at Piccadilly, and none of them had experience. Like it definitely helped me stand out, maybe, or maybe helped me understand as to where I want to go with my career. But for co-op, people don't really expect you to have a background in a similar industry. That's why like it's co-op. So
Yeah.
they're going to teach you either way. Even if I know how to use Excel, they are going to teach me how to use Excel, because for them you are just a student out of your graduation, and they want to teach you, and they want to show their ability to help train people. So they are going to train you either way, no matter how qualified you are. So the only thing that you need to show them is that you are a good fit for the team, and that's it. You just need to be a good at communication, good at receiving and take asking feedback, and be a good team player. And that's what they look more at, instead of being just if you have experience or not. They don't really and I feel every job has some transferable skills that you can apply to. Even if I
Right.
work as a cashier, I still have some transferable skills that I can apply from my cashier experiences to an accounting job. So it really just boils down to how good team player you are.
Yeah. And how you are going to put in your resume, right? Like the use of words is very important. I think that is
for
also
for
one of
being
the
a
key.
good team player. So I have been working with PetSmart for like 2 years now. Okay, so I feel if you are working long enough with a company, it just shows them that you're a good team player. That's why you have stayed too long, or that's why you have stayed longer for with
Yes.
a particular company. And then it's not what I can just write team player. Okay, I it won't make a lot more impact, but you can show them during a resume, like during an interview, as to those experiences that you feel make you a good team player. That's where you can. So I don't think resume you can encapsulate everything of being a good team player, but your cover letter for sure, and then your interview are the really two major points where you can show them, okay, that's how I think I'm a good team player. I have been working with these much people, and that's how I stand up for my team. I cover for people. I you know I learn from them, and I if I am I train them if I'm in a position to do that. So that you can do it using your cover letter, or during your interview. You can just definitely ask you a lot of behavioral questions, and 90% of the firms would ask you, okay, are you how describe a situation where you think you are a good team player. So that's your
Yeah,
time to shine.
that's right. So Pranav, I also have noticed because I also go to a lot of networking events. So there's a trend among international students to take on general roles like cashier or customer service rather than sticking to their field of study. What advice would you give, because you are still a student? So that's why I'm asking, like, what advice would you give to students who might be considering these type of jobs instead of co-op placements or something they are doing in their own field?
Um, I'd say I'm still working at PetSmart. Okay, I'm still a cashier. I'm still a merchandiser, apart
Yeah.
from being a bookkeeper and whatnot. But I feel it really boils down to your persistence and your motivation to your goal. I am still working at PetSmart, but uh, that doesn't affect my aspiration of being a CPA. That doesn't. It's just something that I have to do. And I know that I'm doing that as a part time and probably might not continue, even though there are so much growth opportunities in your blue collar jobs. Like if I had been offered supervisor role but I don't take that because this is definitely not what I want to do. And I know if I do take it, I might put myself in a position where I'm getting stuck. So I feel first of all, you need to have a plan. You need to have something that you feel aligned to, and that doesn't come without any research. Like, you need to know what you like. Like, you cannot make genuine efforts towards something that you do not like. So you need to have that clarity. Okay, I like accountancy and I like it so much so that I'll go out of my comfort zone to get into something that deals with accounting. So I feel for me it was really the love of accounting that kept pushing me throughout. I had so many low phases. I told you, like, I did not find any part-time jobs for the first year, did not find co-ops for when I was seeking, did not find anything else. But it's my resilience of wanting to make it in accounting, and I kept at it. I kept making efforts. I kept making, I kept trying, and I feel there's no replacement of efforts. Like, and I feel to just trust the process, and if it happens, it happens. If it doesn't, then just keep trying harder. And I also, like, I don't know, and some people do have these aspirations of working and getting promoted in blue collar jobs. So just wanna put out there, there's nothing wrong with that, but that too happens only when you have a goal in mind. You have to be a store manager. Home Depot store manager gets paid a lot more than a manager at an accounting firm. But you need to have that goal in your mind as to, you need to achieve this, and this is your plan, and this is the process that will get you there. So I feel even if you're passionate enough to be a Home Depot store manager or a manager at an accounting firm, you need to stick to it and put meaningful efforts into getting that.
I totally agree with you because I have a friend working for Home Depot and he is store manager
Yeah,
and he started as cashier and it took him like almost 7 years to reach at this point. He started I think 2017 or 2018. So he became cashier, then became head cashier, then he became I think independent supervisor or
yeah,
department supervisor.
department super,
And
yeah.
then yeah, and then assistant manager and then he became store manager. So that was a process, a long process and he stick to it.
Yeah, I feel
So
I feel uh coming from India, we do look down uh at blue collar jobs for some reason. Maybe it's just
yeah.
how our brains are imbibed, but actually that's the beauty of Canada. No
Yeah.
job is looked down upon. Like, we people are respected more for doing a blue collar job than a white collar job. A person in construction is looked as, okay, this guy is works hard, and no one cares about a person in finance or accounting. So it ultimately boils down to what you really need in your life and how do you want your life to look at. And I feel there are 100 of other opportunities that would pay me more than and being an accountant, and I would not take it because I just love accounting so much. Like, so it's just what you need to do and how you need to do that should be very much clear in your mind at this stage of your life.
Exactly. Over to you, Subin.
Yeah, with the whole conversation, we can really relate to your interest and the love you have for accounting.
Yeah.
And I think you are putting continuous efforts for your CPA also, because these are all
Yeah,
the basics which you are trying to fulfill and building those blocks to reach that level, right?
yeah.
In your recruitment process with the co-op position, do you think there were any certification or any experience or anything that stood out and gave you that opportunity?
um for accounting specifically, they do not look at any certificate because the only certification is CPA.
Okay.
You can have some Excel courses, you can have some bookkeeping courses, but they are going to train you for that.
Mm-hmm.
And specifically when it comes down to a co-op position, they do not care. As long as you are punctual, you are a good team player, and yeah, just it just comes down to being a good team player and like showing up and being putting in efforts and going to these networking events. That's something that in accounting specifically, HR look at. Having some There's nothing wrong with doing an next few certifications, but again, there has to be a balance between both. So there's this thing in accounting. People have lots of coffee chats. So we'll have a coffee chat with a staff accountant, then a senior accountant, then a manager. So we get to know as to how the firm's working and what my roles and responsibilities would look like in a particular firm when I join them. So I was talking to this HR at KPMG, and she was like, "You can have 50 coffee chats, but if you don't have the grades, no one would care." Similarly, you can have a dean's list honor or whatever. You have 4.33 GPA, but no one would actually care if you do not put an effort into knowing the firm, knowing the people at the firm. So there needs to be a good balance between everything. You need to, and accounting specifically, people do look at your grades. Like I've had friends who have not received an interview calls because of low GPA, and like not like I would say, like what I've heard is like 70% in accounting is like something that is treated as it's like bare minimum, like you need to have at least 70% or something. It's not every firm, don't quote me on that again, but it's just like there needs to be a balance. You need to show them that, not because when you start as a staff accountant, you are going to do your CPA. So that's why they care about your grades so much, because they need to know that you're performing good academically, because you're going to be working and then you're going to be giving all the CPA exams. So they need to know that how well will you fare if they are putting so much time and money into your CPA designation. Would you actually fare well? But if you're already a CPA designated, no one would actually look at your grades for sure. No one would even think about it before hiring you. But because you have to do your CPA through those firms, they do look at your grade, because then they can know how well you would be able to manage work and academics. So that's why for entry level positions in accountant, there needs to be a good balance between everything. There needs to be a good balance between networking, your grades, and some extracurricular if you can afford that.
I think that's a great point, because usually there's a notion just to complete a course and then you have the other work permit and processes. But I think this is a great takeaway, because you need to have good grades, because once you are inside the organization, your attitude matters. If you have a good attitude,
Yeah.
anyone will train you and you can excel in anything, right? So I think that's a great point. Over to Aishi.
I'll just have one last question, and that will be any piece of advice you would like to give out to the international students.
Oh, as an international student, I don't know if I'm worthy enough, but if someone does care about, I'll just give out a few pieces of advice. It's just like whatever I have spoken over the past 1 hour, like I'll just reiterate. It's just that having that research and planning as to what you need to do. So for me, I spent 3 months researching as to what I would like to study. Like accounting doesn't come in a day, like overnight. Okay, accounting is something that I would need to do it. I had researched it for like a couple of months before I can actually come to this decision. So it's very important for you to find something that you love, and once you find that, do make efforts, genuine efforts, and there's not going to be 100% success rate for your efforts. So trust the process. Like one of my favorite cricketers, MS Dhoni, says this, like trust the process, not the results. Don't focus on the results, just trust the process. And I really stuck with me, and I always have been focusing on the process. Like because I can only focus on the process and the efforts that I'm putting in, and the actual results are not in my hands. So I would say just trust the process and just keep putting in efforts, and then whatever effort you put in, you'll definitely get rewarded in a much more greater than you even imagine. So for me personally, I never imagined being on a podcast, being a panelist with such a wonderful co-panelist, and like it's just coming along because of all the efforts that I've put, and that I'm still trying to put some efforts into going out and like talking to people. So stripes, just put in efforts, and you'll get your reward sometime soon.
Thank you, Pranav. Subin?
Uh, I think this was a very informative and insightful conversation which we had with Pranav, because it states how well we should be prepared, not only as like in our previous immigration consultant conversation we had talked about planning, and I can relate now to Pranav's motivation, because he has planned so well 3 months prior what he wants to do after coming here and how he wants to navigate through that career and where he wants to reach. And for that, he's trying to reach out to correct people, network with them, go for networking events, always utilizing the college given resources like the career center, the mentors, the counselors, and approaching different HR recruiters and everyone to be connected for his long-term goal. I think that's a brilliant way, and if anyone is listening to this, it would be really helpful to follow such steps. And I really thank you, Pranav, for sparing your time for us and giving all these valuable information for free. And and I think you will do great, as you have already received an offer. I congratulate for that, and I believe you will be an inspiration for many more. And once again, you might be back in our podcast one day, and I see that with more achievements and accolades. Thanks
Yeah.
again.
Thank you so much for having me. Like, it's been lovely knowing Ayushi and lovely getting to know you as well. So I'm just gonna like my final thoughts would be like, if you wanna leave my LinkedIn profile, just leave it on the YouTube thingy. And if anyone wants to reach out, please do reach out. And I really wish from the bottom of my heart that you guys, whoever is watching this, even whoever doesn't watch this, get what they are dreaming of, that what they really want to achieve in their life. And I pray for everyone that they do, because it does help your confidence and everything else. So I hope this helps, and I'm sorry for my long answers, but I hope it helps.
Thank you so much, Pranav. It's great, like how positive you are and your positive approach towards everyone. Thank you so much for sharing that.
Thank you so much.
Thanks.